हेलो दोस्तों, एस के आई चैनल में आप सभी का स्वागत है। मेरे चैनल को लाइक कीजिए, सब्सक्राइब कीजिए और बेल आइकन का बटन दबा के उसको नोटिफिकेशन जरूर पाइए और अपने दोस्तों के साथ शेयर जरूर कीजिए। थैंक यू। सोशल साइंस सिविक्स क्लास 6 चैप्टर 8 रूरल लाइवलीहुड्स। In the first chapter we looked at many kinds of diversity in our lives. We explored how living in different regions has an effect on people do. The kind of plants, trees, crops or things that become important to them. In this chapter we will look at the different ways in which people earn their living in village, and here too, as in first two chapters, we will examine whether people have equal opportunities to earn a living. We will look at the similarities in our life situation and the problems that they face. First, describe the work that you see people doing in the above picture. Second, identify the different types of work that are related to farming and those that are not. List them in a table. In our notebook, draw some pictures of work that you have seen people do in rural areas, while sentence that describe the work. Kalpattu village. Kalpattu village is a village that close to the sea coast in Tamil Nadu. People here do many kinds of work. As in other villages, here too there is non-farmer work such as making baskets, pencils, pots, bricks, bullock cart, etc. There are people who provide services such as blacksmith, nurse, teachers, washermen, weavers, barbers, cycle repairs, mechanics, and so on. There are also some shopkeepers and traders. In the main street, which looks like a bazaar, transporting paddy is a back-breaking work. We find a variety of small shops such as tea shops, grocery shops, barber shops, clothes shop, tailors, and 2 fertilizers and seed shops. There are 4 tea shops, and we sell tiffin such as idli, dosa, and upma in the morning. And the snacks like bada, bonda, and Mysore pak in the evening. Near the tea shops is in a corner lives a blacksmith family whose home serves as their workshops. Next to their home is a cycle hire and repair shop. 2 families earn a living by washing clothes. There are some people who go to nearby town to work as construction workers and lorry drivers. The village is surrounded by low hills. Paddy is the main crop that is grown in the irrigated lands. Most of the families earn a living through agriculture. There are some coconut groves around. Coconut, sugar, cotton, sugarcane, and plantain are the grown. And there are mango orchards. Let us now meet some people who work in the fields in Kalpattu and see what we can learn about farming from them. Tulasi, all of us here work in Ramilangam's land. He had 20 acres of paddy fields in the Kalpattu. Even before I was married, I used to work on paddy fields in my parental village. I worked for 8:30 in the morning till 4:30 in the evening. And the Karutamma Ramalingam wife supervises us. This is the one of the few times in the year that I find regular work. Now I am transplanting the paddy. When the plants have grown a bit, Ramalingam will call us again for weeding and then finally once again for harvesting. When I was young, I could do this work with no difficulty, but now As I grow older, I find bending for long hours with my feet in water very painful. Ramalingan pays rupees 40 per day. This is a little less than what laborers get in my home village. But I came here because I can't depend on him to call me whenever there is a work. Unlike others, he does not go looking for cheaper labor from other villages. My husband Raman is also a laborer. We don't own any land during this time of year. He sprays pesticides when there is no work on the farm. He finds work outside, either loading sand from the river or stone from the quarry nearby. This is sent by truck to be used in nearby towns and make the houses. Apart from the working on the land, I do all the tasks at home. I cook food for many family, clean the house and wash clothes. I go with our women to the nearby forest to collect firewood. About 1 kilometer away we have village borewell from where I fetch water. My husband has been getting materials such as groceries for the house. Our school going daughters are the joy of our lives. Last year one of them fell ill and had to be taken to the hospital in the town. We had to sell our cow to pay back the money we borrowed from the Ramalingan for her treatment. First, describe the work that Tulsi does. How is it different from the work Raman does? Second, Tulsi gets paid very little money for the work she does. Why do you think agricultural laborers like her are forced to accept low wages? Third, in what ways would her way of earning a living have been different? If Tulsi owned some farmland, discuss. Fourth, what are the crops grown in the region and nearly rural areas? What kinds of work do agricultural laborers do? Based on the above diagram, would you say that Tulsi earns money throughout the year? January it is free, February free, March free, April free, May free. In June, preparing saplings. July, August, transplanting. October, weeding. November and December, harvesting. As you saw in Tulsi's story, poor families in rural areas often spend a lot of time every day collecting firewood, getting water and grazing the cattle. Even though they do not earn any money from these activities, they have to do them for household work. The family needs to spend their time doing this as they are not able to survive on little money they earn. Nearly 2/5 of the rural families are agricultural laborers in our country. There are some who have small plots of land, while others like Tulsi are landless, not being able to earn money throughout the year from people in the many rural areas to travel long distance in search of work. This travel or migration takes place during particular season. Sekar, we have to carry this paddy to our houses. My family has just finished harvesting our fields. We don't own much land, only 2 acres. We managed to do all work on our own. At times, especially during the harvest, I take the help of some small farmers and in turn help them harvest their field. The trader gave me seeds and fertilizers as loan. To pay back this loan, I have to sell my paddy to him at a somewhat lower price than what he would get in the market. He had sent his agent to remind farmers who have taken loans that they will sell the paddy only to them. I will probably get 60 bags of paddy from my fields. Some of these I will sell to settle the loan. The rest will be used to in my home. But whatever I have will last only 8 months. So I need to earn some money. I work in Ramalingam's rice mill. Here I help him collect paddy from other farmers in the neighboring villages. We also have a hybrid cow whose milk we sell in the local milk cooperative. This way we get a little extra money for everyday's need. On being in debt, as you have read about, we often farmers like Shikhar need to borrow money to purchase basic things like seeds, fertilizers, and pesticides. Often they borrow this money from the money lenders. If the seeds are not of good quality or pest attack their crops, they can be major crop failure. This is the photo. The crop can also be ruined if the monsoon does not bring enough rain. When this happens, the farmers sometimes are unable to pay back their loans and for the family to survive, they may have to borrow more money. Soon the loans become so large that no matter what they earn, they are unable to repay. This is when we can say that they are caught in debt. In the recent year, this has become a major cause of the distress among farmers. In some areas, this has also resulted in many farmers committing suicide. First, what work does Shekhar family do? What do you think Shekhar does not usually employ laborers for doing farming work? Second, why does Shekhar not to go to town market to get better price for their paddy? Third, Shekhar's sister Meena and also taken a loan from the trader. She does not want to sell their paddy to him, but she will pay back her loan. Write an imaginary conversation between the Meena and the trader's agent, an argument given by the each people. Fourth, what are the similarities and difference between Shekhar and the Tulsi lives? Your answer could be based on land that they have. Their need to work on land that belongs to others, or loans they need on their earnings. Transplanted paddy growing in a few of the Ramalingam's 20 acres, a result of hard work performed by agricultural workers like Tulsi, Ramalingam and Kaluttamma. In addition to the land, Ramalingam's family town owns a rich mill and a shop selling seeds, pesticides, etc. For the rich mill, they used some of their own money and also borrowed from the government bank. They buy paddy from within the village and from surrounding villages. The rice that is produced in the mill is sold to the traders in nearby towns. This gives them a substantial income. Read again. Shekhar and Tulsi accounts. What do they say about the Ramalingam, the larger farmer, together, and what do you have read? Fill the details below. How much the land does he have? What does Ramalingam do with their paddy grown on his land? Apart from the farming, how else he earn? Terrace farming in Nagaland. This is a village called Chichemami, which is the Pak district in Nagaland. The people of the village belong to the Chakkesang community. They do terrace cultivation. This means that the land on the hill slope is made into flat plots and carved out in the steps. The sides of the slope are raised in order to retain water. This allows water to stay in the field, which is the best for rice cultivation. The people of the Chichemami have their own individual fields, but they also work collectively in other fields. They form group of 6 or 8 and take an entire mountain to clean the weeds on it. eats together once their work for the day is over. This group on his several days until the work is completed. Agricultural laborers and farmers in India. In Kalpattu village there are agricultural laborers like Tulsi and many more farmers like Shekhar and few big farmers like Ramalingam. In India, nearly 2 out of every 5 rural families are the agricultural laborers families. All of them depend on the work they do on the other people's field to earn a living. Many of them are landless and others may own very small plots of land. In case of the small farmers like Shekhar, their land is barely enough to meet their needs. In India, 80% of the farmers belong to this group. Only 20% of the India farmers are like Ramalingam. This large farmer cultivated most of the land in the villages. The last part of their produce is sold in the market. Many of them have started their other business such as shops, money lending, trading, and small factories, etc. From the figures given above, what would say that the majority of the country's farmers are quite poor. What do you think they can be done to change this situation? We have looked at the farming in the Kalpattu. Apart from the farming, many people in the rural areas depend upon the collection from the forest and animals husbandry, dairy produce, fishing, etc. For example, in some villages in central India, both farming and collection from the forest are important source of livelihood. Collecting mahua, tenduk leaves, honey to be sold to traders is an important source of additional income. Similarly, selling milk to the village cooperative society or taking money to the nearby town may be the main source of livelihood for small families. In the coastal areas, we find fishing villages. Let us find out more about the lives of fishing family by reading about the Aruna and Parivelan who live in Pudupet, a village called close to Kalpattu. Fisherwoman selling the catch at the local market. Aruna and Parivelan. Not very far from the Kalpattu is the village of Pudupet. People here earn through living by fishing. Their houses are close to the sea, and one finds a row of catamarans and net lying around. At about 7 o'clock in the morning, there is a lot of activity on the beach. This is the time when the catamarans return with their catch and the women gather to buy and sell fish. My husband Parivelan, my brother and my brother-in-law returned late today. I was very worried. They go to the sea together in our catamarans. They said they were caught in the storm. I have kept aside some fish for the family. I will auction the rest. The money I get from the auction will be divided into 4 shares, one each for each person who went fishing, and 4/1 is for the equipment. Since we own the catamaran engine and nets, we get that share too. We have taken a loan from a bank and purchased a engine which is fixed onto the catamaran. Now they can go far away from the sea so that they can get a better catch. The women who buy fish here will carry them in basket to be sold in nearby villages. Then there are others like traders who buy for the shop in the town. I will only finish this auction by noon. In the evening, my husband and our relatives will untangle and repair our nets. Early tomorrow morning, around 2 a.m., they will set out to sea again. Every year, for at least about 4 months during the monsoon, they cannot go to the sea because this is when the fish breed. During this month, we survive by borrowing from trader. Because of this, later on we are forced to sell the fish to that trader and cannot do our auctions. Those lean months are the most difficult. Last year we suffered a lot because of the tsunami. Rural livelihoods. People in rural areas earn their living in various ways. Some of them work on farms while others earn their living on non-farm activities. Working on farms involves operations such as preparing the land, sowing, building, and harvesting of crops. We depend on the nature of the growth of these crops, hence life revolves around certain season. People are busy during sowing and harvesting and less so at other times. Rural people in different regions of the country grow different crops. However, we do find similarities in their life situation, in the problem they face. How people are able to survive or earn with different on the land they cultivate. Many depend on this land for work as laborers. Most farmers grow crops, both of them on requirements and also to sell in the markets. Some have to sell to the traders from whom they have borrowed money for their survival. Many families need to borrow money for their work or when no work is available. There are some families in the rural areas which drive a large excess of land, business and other activities. However, most small farmers, agricultural laborers, fishing families, crafts person in the village do not find enough work to keep them employed throughout the year. Why do we both Shekhar and the Aruna family have to borrow? What similarities and differences do you find? Second, have you heard of the tsunami? What is this and what damages do you think it might have done to the life of fishing families like Aruna's?